Aha!
Drivers! I give you Mr. Mark 6.
Good morning, drivers. Thanks to my comrade, Jim Pomeroy, playing the pipes over there. You know, that's really hard to do. Anybody ever tried to get a sound out of a PVC pipe? Good job, Jim. Drivers, yesterday, how many of you noticed how many incidents there were? Anybody know how many incidents there were yesterday? Shout it out. There were, did you hear that? 0. Saturday drivers, 0 incidents at Sebring. Wow. First thing, hats off. Congratulations, Saturday drivers. Yeah. That's fantastic. And then, remember this. It's a trap. Sebring Sunday will give you another opportunity to crash your car and ruin your day. Who's going to take advantage of that opportunity? No volunteers, are there? I tell you what, even if it's not your intention, if you relax for a moment, if you become casual or nonchalant about your driving, if you give Sebring an opening to come in here and take your car, Sebring will do that. But if that happens, though, is it Sebring's fault? Probably not. Driver error or something you've overlooked in preparation on your car. A variety of factors can come into play as to what causes incidents, but often, like in aviation, when you see serious plane crashes, you know, over and over and over, they carefully investigate that, and most of the time, it's a pilot error, a human factor. That can happen here at the racetrack. And so, while yesterday, even though we had a delay to get started, right, some heavy fog yesterday morning prevented us from getting started on time due to poor visibility. And we had a delay getting started, but beyond that, we had a very, very good track day at Sebring yesterday. Here we are running in the shadow of some of the all-time greats in motorsports. And, you know, there hadn't been any rain at Sebring since the race, so we're running in millions of dollars worth of deteriorated Michelin on the track. And y'all get to get some more of that today. Do you think you can follow the pattern of being incident-free? Can you do that? Who's in with that? Yes, there you go. And so you can say that right now in the driver's meeting as we stand here. Yes, I'm in with that. But are you in with that 2 or 3 or 4 hours from now? You better be, okay? Because you got to remind yourself, I'll remind you now, and remind yourself later that if you're going to be in with that, being incident-free at Sebring today, you have to recommit to that step each time you get in your car to begin a session. The same effort that you made in the prior session or in the previous hour is not good enough for the next session or the next hour. You have to recommit. Inspecting your car, checking yourself here, to be prepared to make great laps at Sebring and make laps without incident. And so that's our challenge to you, as we have often challenged Chin drivers in the past, to bring your mental game and recommit yourself to making excellent laps, good choices, and doing all the right things behind the wheel while you're making laps at Sebring today, and then you will get what you came for, won't you? And that is fantastic, rewarding laps at this majestic temple of motorsport that we come and we choose to go to church on Sunday here at Sebring, right? Thank you all for being part of that, coming out here, joining us, and doing your part. And remember, not just Chin staff, Mark steps on the stuff and asks you to do that, but you have a responsibility to all the drivers surrounding you. Look around, folks. All of these drivers here, to some extent, are relying on each other. Even though you don't necessarily know or haven't been introduced or made friends with every driver in the paddock, each of you has to do something for the others to get a great track event today. This is a group effort, okay? If you want to do a private event where it's you alone and the only person that has to do a good job is you, we can arrange that for you. See us later, bring your wallet. But if it is a group setting, this track event today, and you're going to be in run groups of 25, 30 plus cars, then you all have to rely on each other. There's some cooperation and some courtesy that is inherent and expected. And of course, most of that relates to safe passing. Car ahead, if you have faster traffic following, you must always observe them in the mirror, give an appropriate point-by signal, and allow them to overtake. And if you are the faster cars and you are catching the car ahead, you have an obligation to wait for a point-by signal. You cannot overtake the car ahead unless a signal has been given, right? And we'll cover that some more, but that's part of the Chin mantra in non-competition track events that perhaps many of you are quite familiar with, but we will remind that every time, won't we? We do continue to operate our track events and visit Sebring under kind of COVID conditions. We appreciate you all covering your face as we gather loosely in this setting. And throughout the day, if you're in the presence of other people in the paddock, we ask you to also cover your face, and especially on the garages on pit lane, Sebring requires face coverings. Do your part to continue to prevent the spread of COVID. That being said, here as we reach the back of the drivers' meeting, we are going to bring back some of our breakout group sessions, okay? I want you all to look ahead to that here in just a few minutes. We will have a separate red group meeting. Advanced drivers are going to meet with one of the chief instructors, and blue group drivers, we will break that down and separate here in just a few minutes when we get to the back half of the drivers meeting. But keep that in mind here, because we haven't been doing the breakout meetings recently, really for months. But we know that drivers are gaining a comfort level with your management of COVID risk and that kind of thing. And of course, many of us have already perhaps been vaccinated. Yay, awesome. The track event hobby kind of skews toward the, shall we say, mature driver, and so many of us are already in the window. But we've gotten a comfort level with managing COVID risk. We're going to do some breakout sessions at the end of the drivers meeting coming up here. You heard from Jim earlier, playing the pipes, doing our introduction. You Sebring regulars know Jim Pomeroy very well. He is the event manager leading this event. I get the privilege of a Sunday cameo appearance on my familiar step. My name is Mark Hicks, for those of us that haven't met yet. Also, can't do this without other key staff here. Will Conklin is our other event manager, and Alex is standing by he's playing the keyboard today. Our chief instructor team helping lead today's event, instrumental, the backbone of Chin Track Days. Jim Hoffman is down in front, and over here, Jim McGovern, Jeff Bauer, and did I miss anybody? Where's the other chief? Victor is, there he is. Victor and Jim are having a private conference. Oh, and our comrade Bill McClendon. There's Bill over there. Hey, y'all, if you need assistance, the familiar black and gold team shirts, if you have a question, about what we're doing, what run group you're in, about safety guidelines, please see any of the Chin Track Day staff. Pardon me. See any of the Chin Track Day staff, and we'll do our best to provide assistance. We can't help you, though, unless you let us know. So raise a question if you have that, will you? We always have some giveaways, you know. The first driver to register some treasure from our car care partners at Stoner Car Care, some tar and tire remover, and the coveted Chin Track Days koozie. The first driver to register for this event was Susan White. Is Susan present? Yes. Excellent. We have a gift. Thank you, Susan. You're online because, you know, our novice category at Sebring sells out each and every time we put an event online. It sells out within minutes. So you have to be online at 9 p.m. sharp when we start taking entries, especially for this day. The March event this weekend is one of our flagship Sebring events, and there's very high demand. How about the first instructor also who registered for Sunday? That was David Sazy. David Sazy. David, are you present? Yeah, David. Got a prize for you, too. Awesome. Oh, there, I'm out in front of the speaker one. Thanks to those folks for being prompt online. Let's find out now who's a novice driver. We've got some new drivers that were not here yesterday. Please raise your hands, and let's give them some recognition, because we really always want to recognize and appreciate the novice drivers. Those of you who've made a choice to do your first track event today, awesome. You've opened the door to a very bad habit, and another great way to empty your wallet. But if you look around, novice drivers, well, you are in the minority. There are many, many very experienced drivers present. And for all of you experienced drivers, of course, remind yourselves you were a novice one day. None of us were born great. Your name is not Lewis Hamilton. You got to start somewhere and begin at the beginning and acquire those great skills. So we really appreciate the novice drivers. The other end of the spectrum, we have our instructor team. If you are an instructor, raise your hand. And let's appreciate these veterans. The track hobby, really nationwide, you know, it's not just Chin Track Days at Sebring, but every track event relies on a strong team of veteran instructors who have a commitment to get back to the hobby. Novice drivers, this can be you 5 years and $100,000 from now. So thank you to the instructors for doing your part. And novice drivers, you will meet your instructors here at the end of the drivers meeting coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to hit those schedule highlights always, right, folks? That is the heavy equipment run group going by on the track there. Now, 3 run groups in the Chin format, right? Green group, that includes novice drivers, and solo yellow. If you have a yellow wristband, that's a solo driver in the green group. In the green group, passing requires a point-by signal, your arm and hand fully extended, an obvious gesture out the window. Point-by signals and passing zones are restricted to straightaways only, fairly obvious. That's where the lines are straight, right, on the track map, and your instructor is going to help you get acquainted with what the safe passing zones are at Sebring. That's in the green group. Point-by signals required, passing restricted to straightaways only, no passing in turns or in braking zones. Blue group, experienced drivers, you've already done a bunch of laps and you're familiar with Sebring and you have met the Chin Track Days criteria for blue group eligibility. And in the blue group, passing requires a point-by signal, and we can also use turn signals for safe passing signals. Use your blinker as you would like a lane change, 2 or 3 blinks to indicate to a following car, hey, it's safe to pass me on this side. So point-by signals or blinkers to indicate safe passing. Passing zones are unrestricted for the blue group. You have the freedom to pass anywhere on the lap as long as appropriate signals have been given. And then the chin red group, our advanced category, kind of the tip of the pyramid of non-competition track day drivers, drivers with many, many, many years of experience and thousands of laps. For you red group drivers at this level, passing is second nature, and giving point-by signals is second nature. The whole idea for red group drivers is that there is never a delay. The car ahead always allows the following car to overtake as quickly as you get there. You give an appropriate signal. You're comfortable going side by side, giving up an apex to allow faster traffic to pass. This is the expectation in the chin red group for expert drivers with very high level of cooperation and advanced passing. And of course, in the red group, those passing zones are unrestricted. You can pass anywhere on the lap with an appropriate signal. And of course, the expectation is that you shall pass everywhere on the lap. If you're not comfortable going side by side through 3 and 4 or over at Bishop's Bend, you're probably not red group capable yet. So those who are only comfortable passing on straightaways are not red group drivers. So if you are in a lower category and you aspire to the chin red group, think about working on your advanced passing techniques, because that is the requirement. So everybody see what the run groups and the passing rules are, right? So you should all have your wristbands by now, right? It's going to be red, blue, or green, or yellow, or white if you're an instructor. But that should be all set at this point in your day already. Schedule-wise, quick highlights there. The driver's meeting will end, we promise, and we will go to the track orientation period. Is how we start the laps track orientation session for everybody to get out there and see what the track conditions are, check the condition of your car, and really get things loosened up, right? Of course, the track orientation period is open to all drivers, so you could see a high density of cars on the lap, which means that that session runs at a slower pace. It is run under yellow flag, full course caution in the orientation session. No passing at any time by any driver at any part of the track while the yellow flag is being displayed. And if you are new to the lap at Sebring, while we are doing the orientation period with every station displaying yellow flags, please pay careful attention to corner station locations. There are 17 stations all the way around the lap, and eventually, if you're going to be an advanced driver in the chin format, we will give you a track map and ask you to show us the location of the corner stations from memory, marking that on the lap. And your first chance to get well acquainted with that is the track orientation period. That ends, and we get into our full speed session rotations. Red group, blue group, green group every 30 minutes. And if you are in the green group, novice drivers, we have our morning classroom session that begins at 9 a.m. following the end of the warm-up session. Novice drivers, classroom is the Hall of Fame building that is right here. Enter the side door by the palm tree. Novice driver classroom is at 9 a.m. And then look on the schedule after lunch at 1 p.m. the afternoon classroom. Okay, we'll have indoor sessions led by our chief instructor team, car control, vehicle dynamics, track safety, and advanced driving techniques. That's all in the classroom sessions. Green group, 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. The other schedule highlights, 12 noon is the regular lunch period, noon to 1 p.m. And in the lunch period at 12:45, we always do our parade laps. That's low speed track touring. It's for everyone. If you have guests and visitors here, take them out in the tow vehicle, SUV, any vehicle can participate, and we'll do low speed touring laps following a pace car. That's at the parade lap at 12:45 on the schedule. Following lunch, it's those session rotations keep going every half hour, red, blue, green. and with that 1 o'clock classroom session I mentioned, and then the other highlight in the final session of the day, for those of you still around at 4 p.m., as always, we will run the 60-minute all drivers open track period, fondly known as the happy hour. And of course, we are talking about all drivers. That means we're blending advanced drivers and less experienced drivers. And we've been doing that for years with great success. Why? Courtesy, cooperation, drivers that care about each other. Advanced drivers, if you are making laps in the open track session, there's no question you're going to encounter some less experienced drivers who may only point by on a straightaway. You have an obligation to wait for a point by signal. And less experienced drivers, as you make laps in the open track period, you have to elevate your mirror awareness to the next level to keep up with faster traffic that is behind you and give an appropriate point by signal to allow them to overtake safely. And people often ask, well, where are the passing zones in the open track period? It's anywhere you get a point by, okay? And that means if you're a faster driver following a less experienced driver and they don't point you by until the straightaway, well, that's your passing zone, okay? Let's be unequivocal that you cannot overtake a car ahead without a point by signal, and that is in any session by any driver all day. You know what I mean? While you make laps, if you do have trouble on the track, we always encourage you to find one of the turnouts. There's a variety of places around the lap where you can, shall we say, escape, get off the track. They're marked by orange paint on the walls or guardrails as you make laps, and especially in the orientation period. A moment ago I mentioned pay attention to corner workers. You can also look for the orange blazes on the walls and Armco surrounding the lap. All of those orange blazes note an opening in the wall. So you lose a tire, or you got lights on the dashboard, you lose power, you're not going to make it back to the pit lane. See if you can find a place to turn out and get off the track safely. The rescue safety teams will be on you in moments. It doesn't matter where you stop. You are being watched, and the safety teams will respond. If you do have to stop on track for any reason, we will always emphasize that you shall not get out of your car. If you are stopped on track for some reason, stay in your car, stay in your car, stay in your car. What I mean by that is don't get out of your car, right? Unless there's one exception. Go ahead, shout it out. Fire! Yeah, okay. Sometimes we get stopped on the track because indeed something's smoking. All right. Then you got to get out of your car, but don't linger to see what's wrong. You get out of your car and you immediately retreat behind the wall and wait for the track safety team. Okay? And they will be there in short order. We always want to emphasize that for safety. Really want to thank our presenting partner at Sebring, Gcs Racing, out of Orlando, presents Chin Track Days at Sebring International Raceway. Gcs is Florida's home for Porsche podiums. Ron and Eric and the Gcs team have walls and walls of trophies. They are among the most successful Porsche club race and vintage race Porsche service providers in the country, certainly in Florida. So thanks to Gcs Racing. Oh, there's Ron, right in the sun. Hey, buddy. Thanks for Gcs. Other partners also supporting us. Gcs Transport provides white glove sports car transportation. If you are looking at a long distance event, you want somebody else to do the dirty work and the heavy lifting, contact Gcs Transport and they will ship your car wherever your destination is and wherever your budget will allow. So thanks to GCS. Also, G-Lock brakes, friction and brake material in every category in a variety of heat ranges. Fantastic high-performance track brakes. Discounts to Chin drivers from G-Lock. Lockton Motorsport We recommend for on-track insurance. Many of you have high-value assets that you really enjoy using as a toy here at the track. You can cover that against damage with Lockton Motorsport. Providing photography for this weekend's event, our friends from Sideline Sports Photography. Mike Stahlschmidt is a guy who does not need a step. And Mike and Sideline Sports have been on site at Sebring for a week plus. They are IMSA pro photographers, shoot many of the pro teams, and they've been here all week, and they're covering Chip Track Days. It's your chance this weekend to get the very best high-quality pro photography of your cars on track. Y'all say hello to Mike.
From the cameras up to 40, to 14, 40, 14 frames per second, 46 megapixels. Smart's about order via the QR. Grab me afterwards. You can get more fun. Mobile. Smart your headlights on. That's some want photos and looks really cool in the photos.
Excellent. There's at around several locations in the paddock, restrooms, and over by the concession stand, you can scan the code to order the Sideline Sports photos online for this weekend's event. Thanks to Mike and Sideline for that. Does anyone have questions about what we're about to do? Passing rules, run groups, safety at Sebring? Y'all, everybody knows what's about to happen, don't you? Huh? Very good. Now we are going to break down into some smaller groups. Pretty important. First, the instructors will meet with our chief instructor as usual behind the trailer. If you're an instructor, walk this way. If you were a red group, advanced driver, we are going to go this way with Jim. Red group, expert drivers, we want you to walk over here with Jim. And blue group, walk to the back. You're going to talk to Chief Instructor Jeff Bauer. If you're a green group driver, please step forward. We're going to speak for another minute right here in front of me. Okay, so this is breakout meetings. The driver's meeting has not ended. Want to make sure everybody gets to their appropriate group. That is instructors behind the trailer, red group advanced drivers behind me, going this way, blue group at the very back opposite me, and green and yellow. Thank you, drivers. So I'm not talking to everybody out there.
point towards your next impact. If you're on the front straightaway on your way to turn blue, which goes left, proper passing on the front straightaway is driver's left side. Always point towards the next impact. If you're on the back straightaway on your way to turn 17, which goes right, proper passing is driver's right side. Your point by signal to indicate pass me on the right is your arm out the window above the roof in a very obvious and deliberate gesture, okay? Don't do that lingering T-Rex hand. You got to get your arm fully extended, up and over the roof to signal pass me on the right, or fully extended straight out the window to signal pass me on the left. Always point toward the side of the next impact. That's your guidance for our windshield. There's a handful on for some reason, first thing we want you to do is to signal following drivers. You can see the underfit, raised fist out the window. You know, you always run windows down, and that's going to facilitate signaling. Fist in the air says, I'm getting. And as you come down the back straightaway from turn 16 to 17, you would move over driver's right. Third line, driver's left side of the track, move over to driver's right side, because the pit signal is also a valid passing signal. Following cars can overtake if the car ahead is displaying a pit signal. So move off line, and then as you go through turn 17, you prepare to enter the pit lane at the pit-in entrance right after the apex of 17. Notice this during the track orientation session that we're about to go to coming up next. Questions about getting on and off the track or the pit out? Last thing I'll mention on that subject is as you leave pits, as you begin your session, you're leaving the pit lane, following the blue line, there's a long black stripe on the surface. It's like this is the way off of the pit lane, and that also keeps you out of the traffic. The thing is, we don't want you to leave the pit lane and then move left, which puts you in the flow of traffic. Cars at speed on track, they're going 89 miles an hour at that point. If you're going, 50 plus coming off the pit lane and you move left in front of them, you don't have to be a physics expert to understand that's a big problem, right? So follow the blue line and point by. Okay, as you come off the pit lane, point by to allow traffic on the track, letting them know, I see you safe to pass me. And that's important stuff of getting off the pit lane. The last thing we'll do is a very quick highlight of the flags, drivers. Always important, even if you see one flag talk or a dozen flag talks, because it's fundamental to your safety at the track, and the day will come as you advance in Shin Track Days run through, we will give you a flag test. Where you're actually going to have to know all these flags by memory. We begin in the track orientation period with a standing yellow flag. The yellow flag first, it means no pass. yellow lets you know there is a car off of the track. Maybe in the grass adjacent to the track, no passing, and look for a driver ahead who may be off. Or waving yellow, the flag is in motion, lets you know the course ahead of you may be obstructed. There could be a car spun, or some other incident. And you should slow down, be prepared to alter your line for the yellow flag. Let's do passing. Passing flag. Quarter work will show the passing flag, let you know there's a faster driver following. You should allow them to overtake at the next appropriate place on the track. Sebring, red and yellow.
Yeah, no,
There's something on the track surface. Car parts, license plate, flag numbers. Might be a squirrel. There's something on the track surface that you may need to avoid. So look ahead, be prepared to change your mind. Debris on the track.
Okay, I just see it.
You know what we call this a black flag? Okay.
yeah, we're told
A black flag is to stop the session. Display black flag all. Every course we show a black flag.
there's one later.
Safety vehicles out on the track. And that's going to be shown at every station. Or an individual black flag. We let the quarter worker hold the black flag and point it at you directly. Means we have observed you doing something outside the guidelines. Stop it. Or we may show that a couple of times, and that means we want the driver to pit. Bottom line is, if you see a black flag, how do you respond? How? Come on, pit. That's right, pit. If you see a black flag, pit. Black flag with the word circle is we call a meatball. We also know it as the buddy flag. There's something wrong with your car. Quarter workers see there's a defect on the head of the car that the driver may be aware of. Hit because there's something wrong with your car. White flag on a slow-moving vehicle. The guy who we just showed the meatball to. Because there's something wrong with their car that's slowed down. The white flag will be displayed to let you know there's a slow car ahead. And if you're going 40 or 50 miles an hour faster than them, that could be a problem. You can overtake the slow vehicle, but be aware that they're not running at speed. Red flag, something quite serious has happened, and there is an urgent need to stop traffic. Red flag, first, check your mirror. Second, come to a safe and controlled stop on the track with inside of a corner station, okay? This allows us to move safety vehicles and fire trucks immediately. Red flag, stop on track, wait for a signal from the corner worker. And the last one, your checker flag. Despite the end of the session, time has run out. All cars return to pit lane. No passing after the checkered flag. Once the checkers displayed, follow the car ahead. Return to pit lane quickly. You want to clear the course so we can begin the next session. It's not a parade lap. We don't want you to slow down to 20, 35 miles an hour. So continue back to the pit lane quickly. The session ends. Questions about the flag? Any other questions? Excellent. Drivers, are y'all ready to make laps?
Yeah.
Are you ready to meet your instructor? Excellent. So if you are a novice on the green wristband, step forward. You're going to meet instructors right now. Still on yellow. You're at the end of the driver's meeting. Before we break, I'm going to ask you who's in charge of your safety. There you go. And why are you here? Let's have you. Oh my gosh. Instructor!
You'll pass me out there.
Yeah, okay.